Hiring a nanny can be overwhelming. Where to look? Where to start? How much should you pay? That's why we started this 10-part series on how to hire a nanny. I'm Michelle Kelsey, founder of the Nanny Solution by Nannies on Call. And each week on Wednesdays, I'm bringing you a new video to help you hire the best nanny possible. Let's jump right into it today, and it's how to determine what you need. This is often a step skipped by many parents. They think, we'll just start looking for a nanny, we need someone 9 to 5, and we'll know them when we meet them. It'll be great. But you need to sit down and truly talk about what you want. Write out a one-page job description of what it is you need. Let's look a little closer at what you need to think about. First of all, you want to start by writing out what are all the qualities in a nanny you're looking for. These can be things like personality traits. Are you a busy household and you like the children to be out all day? Then you want an active nanny. If you're a quieter family that likes reading and staying in, then you want a nanny who likes those things as well. You need to decide what personality traits are important to you that will match your family's values and goals. Then there are things like specialized skills. Do you need a nanny who has an early childhood education? Do you need someone with special needs experience or maybe a teaching background? If you want your children homeschooled or taught at home, it really depends on what you're looking for. So are there any special skills that you need your nanny to have that you can write down in this job description? How many years of experience are you looking for? We'll get into budgets later, but of course this will change how much the nanny will charge. Are you okay with a newer nanny who's a little less experienced that you can train? Or do you want someone with 10+ years experience who can come in, take over immediately, and handle the kids without much direction from you? Decide how many years of experience you need the nanny to have. And then education and training. That kind of goes into specialized skills, but there are lots of nannies who have training in breastfeeding, bottle feeding, toilet training, sleep training. They have certificates in many of these things. Are any of these things important to you? Are you going to be having to teach a child to ride a bike, toilet train the child, whatever stage your children are at? Are there any education or certificates that would be important for your nanny to have? Then go ahead and write down all your deal breakers, things that you just cannot have in your home. Right now, a big one is COVID vaccines. Are you willing to have a nanny who's unvaccinated, or must they be vaccinated? Are you okay with a smoker, or do you need to have a non-smoker? Do you care how far away they live from your house? Sometimes nannies are okay driving an hour to work. Is that okay with you? Distance from your home? Are you worried about snow or other traffic issues that might come up? Think about the deal breakers that are important to you. Of course, you have to remember about discrimination. So ethnicity, sex, orientation, none of those things can come into what you decide are deal breakers for you. Hiring a nanny means hiring someone with a specific set of experiences and education. So you really need to figure out what your nice to haves, must haves, and do not wants are before you start the search for a nanny. Next up is writing the actual job description. What hours do you need? Do you need 9 to 5, or do you need time to get to and from work? Do you want to work out after work and need a little bit extra even after your work hours? That's okay too. Determine exactly what you need so that you can write that in the job description. Next would be budget. We're going to do a whole nother video coming up in next week on setting your budget and understanding what to pay your nanny, but having an idea of what you can afford. Keeping in mind you need to think about things like taxes, vacation pay, sick pay, overtime. These are all things that often are forgotten when writing out a job description and realizing what your budget's going to be. So sit down, figure out what the going rate in your area is. Again, we'll go more into this in next week's video. Do you need someone who drives? Do you need someone who has their own car? Many families ask for nannies who are drivers, but don't actually need them to drive the children. It's a nice to have, not a must have. So really think about it, because driving nannies are more expensive. It's expensive to have a car, it's expensive to have insurance. If a nanny has their own car, it's quite a bit more to hire that nanny. Can you offer a car? Remember, you'll have to either offer your car or pay for mileage, and you'll have to budget for that as well. Finally, in the job description is What duties do you need specifically? Is it only childcare? Are they taking the children to and from school? Do they need to meal prep for the children, breakfast, lunch, dinner? Do they need to do any of the shopping for the groceries for the children? Do you expect them to lesson plan for what's happening each week and present it to you? Do you expect the nanny to do the planning of activities and sign the children up? Is there any housekeeping, laundry, organization? All of the things that you are wanting your nanny to do, write them out. Split them into a list of must-haves and nice-to-haves, and you can go from there. If you've never had a nanny before, do your research. Talk to some other families in the neighborhood. Sign up for some groups on Facebook or other groups online where you can see what people are talking about. Find out what nannies are being paid, what their job descriptions are, what types of nannies in your area, what education and background do they have, and this should give you a good starting point of how to write a job description. Families who have a very specific job description with an understanding of the roles and responsibilities of nannies are farther ahead and are able to find, hire, and keep nannies longer than families who don't have a specific job description. Now it's time to take action. Sit down with a piece of paper and write out what the qualities you want your nanny to have, what the job description is, what your budget is, what are your must-haves and nice-to-haves, and start to form a one-page job description for your nanny. Make sure you check out last week's video on how to keep your nanny happy. It's a great place to start. Join us next Wednesday when we talk about budgets and what to pay your nanny. See you next Wednesday.